Hello. I'm filming this video in response to a question from Enrique B. This is the kind of thing I would like to do more of with this channel rather than just review pens. Enrique B is considering several different pens, and the models are, from the top, I have a Pelikan M200, I have a Platinum 3776, and I have a Pilot 743. Now, he was asking which one I would recommend. Of these, my personal favorite, as a writing tool, because he was not specific, would be this Platinum pen. But let's take a look at each of them, and maybe I'll even give you a couple alternatives while we're at it. So this Pelikan is the smallest of the group. It's a demonstrator. It now comes, since I've purchased this, they've come out with several different colors. I like the nice attention to detail, and it's not a pen I use all the time, but it does a pretty good job. It's not showing lots of wear and tear. It feels not cheap in the hand. I did get a little staining in the barrel from one ink, but that is what it is. So, and one of the fun things with the Pelikan, let's see if I can pull this off here. I honestly don't remember what ink is in it. It was actually ready to be cleaned out, so I've kind of forgotten, and I filled it up right before I got into labeling them. But anyway, Pelikan M200, you can see you can get some line variation out of it. Now it does have a steel nib. It's gold plated, but it's steel. Some flex. And it's a bit small. But it's a decent pen for a decent price. Close my parentheses. You can actually screw out this nib unit. I have not seen these nib units for sale, but if that appeals to you for whatever reason, there you go. Now, since I'm recommending the Platinum, let's go to the Pilot. Now, my Pilot is a bit unusual. This is a Pilot Custom 743. Now, what makes mine a bit unusual is mine has the Falcon nib on it, FA. Now, Falcon, I'll get into this more in a review, means it's got these notches in the side and it's a bit more flexible than normal. Actually, one of the fun things about the Pilot 743 is you have a lot of nib options available and a very large nib size. So I should write that down. And it's gold. Mini nibs. It's a number 15. It's a large pen. And Con 70 converter. The Pelikan of this group is the only one that has a built-in filling mechanism. So those are all pluses. Now, since he didn't identify the use he wants to make of this pen, I'm just going to point out this is the same type of nib found on the Pilot Custom 743, but this is a fine nib. This one happens to be in a Pilot Custom 823, but you can see at least how the writing would be because it's the same nib and feed, it's just a different filling mechanism basically. I have not found very many color options for this guy. So I guess in the con column, I didn't really start a con column, did I? Limited colors. Price. Those are some definite cons. Now, one alternative that he did not ask about, but is worth considering, this is not inked up, but it's the Pilot Custom 74. It's a smaller pen than the Pilot Custom 743. It's a demonstrator. It comes in several different colors. This is the violet, there's a blue, there's an orange, there's a clear, and there's some kind of a smoke. Substantially smaller price. Now, the drawback is the nib is a smaller nib. Your choices are basically fine, medium, and broad, and if you're lucky, maybe you can find an extra fine. But that's pretty much it. It is a gold nib. It is rhodium plated, but gold nib. So at a much more reasonable price. This I bought for the Falcon nib. Honestly, if it weren't for the Falcon nib, I wouldn't have bought it. So that's an option to consider. So maybe I'll put that here. I'll print it just because. I'm actually very happy with it. I also own a Pilot Custom 92 with a piston filler, which I'm very happy with. All right, and of course the pen I liked the best. Now, there's not a dislike on this list, so this is a very relative list. You can't go wrong with any of them. This is I just filled it. This is a Platinum, and I can't spell, Platinum 3776. Medium. For one thing, you get a gold nib. This one's rhodium plated. They are low cost. They're a decent size. They're reliable. That's a big one. And you've got a lot of options. Now, unless you happen to find one for sale, you won't find this option out there. This is one of the special editions, the Shoji. But there is this Bourgogne Red, or Bourgogne, I can't remember how to pronounce it. Chartreuse Blue. There's some solid colors. I have a celluloid one, which isn't over here, but that's quite a jump in price, unless you get lucky like I did. This is the, what lake is this? Yamanaka. There was a lake that came out this year that I don't remember, but I didn't buy it. There's the Nice Clean or Free or something, Psy. Whole bunch of different options for colors. And as far as nibs, there are some nibs too. Different nib options. You have your regular fine, medium, and broad, but you also have, as I do in this pen, the soft fine, which this pen isn't inked up, but it definitely has more bounce. You have your medium fine. You also have several extra fines, extra fine, ultra extra fines, and a couple others like that. So you have nib options with Platinum. Now, I don't mind this, but some people do. This is a nib with more feedback. It is a cartridge converter pen, which some people don't like. Especially the Platinum converter is one of the smaller ones, and it's a bit proprietary. Let's see what else. When you look at some of them, you might see injection marks. And some people have complained about that in reviews. So it used to bother me. It doesn't anymore, but now something to consider. Oh, and then one on the plus side, the slip and seal mechanism in the cap. So I'll zoom in here so you can see it. This is kind of wild. This is why I inked this particular one up. So watch the names of the lakes on the inner cap as I screw this in. See that? What happens is this provides a very tight seal so that the pen will not dry out and it will be ready to start writing at any time. I guess about 6 months, they say. Now, I haven't tested it for 6 months, but I've gone several weeks and it starts up just like a champ. So I am pretty happy with this. But I will say, I don't have an issue with that with any of the other pens on this list either. So take that for what it's worth. So overall, because of price and options, I like the Platinum 3776. You get a good, reliable pen. The Pilot Custom 743, I think, is a bit overpriced for this range, compared to the other two. But you get some really fantastic nib options. However, I would strongly recommend its smaller cousin and much cheaper cousin, the Pilot Custom 74. Or if you want a piston filler, the Pilot Custom 92, same nib. I didn't grab mine, but that's another option to consider. The Pelikan is a good pen. It's never managed to become my daily writer, and of them all, it probably feels the cheapest. It's also the only one with a steel nib. But it is a good pen. It's been reliable for me, although I did get a little staining from one ink, which would be visible if this weren't full of ink, of whatever kind it is. Something green. But anyway, I hope this was useful. I wouldn't go so far as to call this a rodeo, because it wasn't really a scientific comparison. It's just kind of an answer to a question. And that's the fun.